Leigh Bardugo's stunning fantasy epic series, Shadow and Bone, has finally made it to the screen thanks to Netflix. And after an action-packed 8 episodes, you might have some questions about the fate of our heroes. But before we can fully board the ship for the next adventure, we first have to break down that finale. General Kirigan has been at the core of Ravka's struggles for a long time, being both a loyal proponent of taking down the Fold and a diplomatic linchpin that controls the fragile social balance between humans and Grisha in his hands. Baghra, however, reveals that Kirigan and the Black Heretic are one and the same. Yup, Ben Barnes' sexy Grisha leader is the centuries-old madman who created the Shadow Fold all those centuries ago. Why then would he celebrate finding the Sun Summoner as a key to destroying it? Turns out it was all a nefarious ruse to control Alina's powers using Morozova's stag. With the help of the Duras named David, Alina and the Darkling were now connected by the body horror of stag parts that were now fused onto them. Then, on the trip into the Fold where the pair were meant to destroy the dangerous wasteland, the Darkling instead expanded it, demolishing the shores and army of his competition. It was a violent play to terrify the delegates aboard the skiff and to take total control of Ravka and the surrounding territories. But thanks to the newfound agency and power of Alina Starkov, the Darkling only managed to destroy Novosibirsk before she put a stop to it. It's established early on that whoever killed an amplifier was the one able to wield its power. And while that does work in practice, there's a deeper connection between Amplifier and Grisha, one of agency and choice. When Alina decided not to kill the stag and shielded it from Kirigan, the stag chose to become her amplifier. This decision allowed her to break free from the Darkling's connection and control, and to save the skiff. It's a powerful moment that redefines Alina and her powers. But does this stand mean that Alina has fully embraced her role as the Sun Summoner?
She really wants to accept it. I think by the time at the end of the season, she understands her responsibility. But she's never wanted it, and it's overwhelming for her, I think. This isn't something that comes naturally to her, so it'll be interesting to see whether it goes to her head or whether she shuns it again. You know, she's complicated. It's a complicated situation.
While it seems like a happy ending for those who survived, it might not be the end of the story for the Darkling, who seems to be fully leaning into his dark side. But is there a chance for redemption?
He is not the hero of this story by any stretch of the imagination. He abuses his power, and he abuses, a young girl who has no agency in the situation that they find themselves in. So, it's obviously a sort of grey area, but it's a very dark grey, I would suggest. And so I would love to see if in future seasons we could find ways to see the humanity in him again and see if he could be forgivable. But I think you'll see what happens to him, at the end of the story, and it's comeuppance.
One of the biggest changes from the original Shadow and Bone book was the inclusion of the crows. Kaz, Jesper, and Inej were introduced on a mission to kidnap the Sun Summoner, but then became unexpected allies to Alina and Mal when the Darkling went on a shadow-making spree. Once the crew escaped the skiff, Alina paid Kaz off with a piece of jewelry given to her by the Darkling. Could this transaction now put a target on the crows?
I think the fact that these characters have now met means that the different paths that they go on might be even more kind of explosive, because especially with the Darkling, everyone has wronged him now. The crows probably weren't on his hit list before, but now they are. So I'm sure that we're going to be forced into some pretty dangerous and tricky situations moving forward, and who knows what dangers we're facing in Ketterdam as well. I can't speak too much to what the other guys will be up to, but I think we're going to be up to some more mischief and more craziness.
With the combined might of the crows, Alina, Mal, and the Squaller Zoya, it seemed like the Darkling might have been defeated. Thrown into the darkness of the Fold, the show wanted us to think he'd been consumed by the Volcra, but as he walked out of the Fold in the final moments of the finale, it was clear that not only is the Darkling not dead, but he has a new power. Ben Barnes' regal villain was followed out of the Shadow Fold by creatures made of pure darkness. In the books, these horrifying beings are known as Nichevoya. serving as the Darkling's near-immortal, infinite army of soldiers that can be manifested at will. As for our other heroes, we know that Alina, Mal, and the Crows, as well as lovers Nina and Matthias, are getting out of Ravka and are headed for freedom. In the meantime, though, what can we expect for Alina and Mal's relationship?
They really, really love each other and really care about each other, but, you know, it's kind of that awkward thing with your best mate. You know, you have feelings for them, but you don't know, I don't want to say I like you because I don't want you to reject me and ruin our friendship. So they're in a really interesting place, and I can't wait to see what happens with them.
But they're certainly very happy to be back reunited with each other.
So, what did you think of the end of Shadow and Bone Season 1? Let us know in the comments. And for more Shadow and Bone, check out our Season 1 review, as well as our IGN FanFest panel with the cast. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you like to watch IGN.
You may have needed me, but I never needed you.